the scenes for quite a long time. You can see, on the if you look at the outside of the product, it looks relatively conventional, but that hides a lot of very advanced technologies that are in there. There's a few things which are brand new for here, but there's a lot of stuff that we've learned doing other drivers for other speakers or other cabinets for other speakers that we've used again here, just because it's worked so well in other products. The main thing that we've had to develop is some new drivers for this speaker. So there's a new UniQ, brand new, that's only used in the reference series. So it uses a similar structure on the front here to, well, the cone and the surround are the same as the blade, except it uses a different motor system. This is a new motor system, it's a neodymium motor, it's very, very low distortion. And that's one area where we've really focused on with this new series, is lowering the distortion as far as possible. The tweeter is the same as the blade. So then, on the low frequency driver side, all of the systems use the same basic driver, but just with some small changes to the voice coil. So we've been able to really focus on getting this driver working really, really well, rather than having to split our efforts between different sizes. The other thing that's really was an important thing for us is to get a really good matching between different systems. So by using the same driver, we have the same baffle width on all the systems. And this means the dispersion from the mid and the treble is almost exactly the same on threes, on ones, and on fives. So that really helps with multi-channel as well. The driver is, if we compare it to the one on the blade, you'll see a lot of similarities. So we have an aluminium dish with an inverted surround, and you can see in the back here a venting coupler between the voice coil and the dish. So it's a mini version really of what we did on blade, but again, we've really focused on the motor, getting really low distortion. It's got a 65mm diameter voice coil, long throw voice coil as well. So that's unusually large. It's just very low thermal compression, good power handle, and the size of the magnet is really big as well, which is very important to keep the distortion low and get the best possible bass performance. So that's on the driver side. Moving on to the system, it's a relatively similar design of the driver positions as we use in our series. So what we're doing on the floor stand is having the UniQ positioned symmetrically around the LF drivers. It gives us a little bit of a performance benefits of the blade when you have a single channel source. The point here is you get a symmetrical vertical dispersion. They're purely three-way systems, so all these four drivers are fed with the same signal. So when they're playing, we only use them at low frequencies, and that makes it a sound field which seems to come from roughly where the UniQ is. That's really important to us because the dispersion is really, really key, and the UniQ's main strength is dispersion. When you're sitting and listening to a pair of speakers, your brain is saying the sound's coming from the speakers. But if you actually analyze where the energy is coming to you, there's a huge amount of energy arriving off the walls. So to get a really, really high quality loudspeaker, we need to make sure that the response to the speaker is good in the direct sound, but also off any reflections. And that's an area where we're particularly strong because of UniQ. But we need to follow that through into the system design. In terms of the cabinets, one potential problem with the style is the hard edges, because this could cause diffraction problems. Now, this little flare around the UniQ has been quite carefully designed to alleviate those issues. So what we've found we can do is by controlling the dispersion of the tweeter right the way out to the edge, we can avoid getting too much high frequency arriving at these edges. So even though it's a very elegant looking square cabinet, we're overcoming the issues, and the performance we're getting is much more like we have on the blade, for example, where it's very rounded. The cabinet itself, the construction is a real highlight of this range. They're extremely heavy. They're made from very thick MDF, but that's not really the thing that makes them heavy, it's the baffle. The baffle is a very thick compound with layers of aluminium and layers of resin, and it's bolted onto the cabinet. This all adds weight and strength.
On the LS50, you remember you've got the things pulling it in. On this, it's got no less than 5 pairs pulling it all in and strengthening it.
And then inside the cabinet itself, there's very extensive bracing. Picture in here, which also adds a lot of strength and weight to the cabinet. So you can see this is on the Model 3, it's pretty extensive. In fact, one of the features is that there's a central brace that runs the whole length of the box, and each driver touches up against that brace. So it helps to transfer the vibration directly into the structure and avoid exciting the basket of the loudspeaker. So this is all quite similar technology that we developed for the LS50. There's another technology we developed for the LS50 which was to avoid problems with the port. That's a flexible port. We've done that again in this case, so you can see the port's made from a soft material, and that helps to avoid coloration coming through the port at mid-range frequencies. The other feature is that the ports can be changed. So we supply the loudspeaker with two different ports. This is the short one. We also provide a long one. And that's to give the customer some ability to change the sound according to the room they're using. The short port gives more or less a traditional kind of reference bass alignment. So that's with the bass aligned to be as flat as possible, and then where we can't extend it anymore, it drops off. If you choose to use the longer ports, you have a response which comes along and then rolls off earlier, but very, very gently. So if you have a small room or a room where you have to put the speakers close to the walls, then you can use the long ports to avoid too much upper bass. And we've had some interesting plays with that in this room. And
yeah, I mean, we found when we got here, look, this is a show, this is a challenging acoustic environment, and it's also to do with taste. But basically, we came here very early yesterday morning and all agreed on what we prefer. Of course, there's tasting.
That's the longer port. But yeah, you can, if you want to pass it around, it's an interesting way to fix two problems at once.
So we've carried on what we started in the LS50 there. By the way, all that and the detailed information Jack was showing has been produced. We decided with the white paper to turn it into a kind of a book, 50-page book. And it's all there, so not only in print, but also online. Actually, to verify this and loads more. You could be here for hours. It took a long time to do, right?
It did. So that's a quick summary. If you've got any more detailed questions, then please just go and ask me them now, or you can get my email address and ask me later on over the next few months. And yeah, I encourage you to have a look at the white paper as well.